Green Bay Packers and the Washington Commanders. Right now, the Packers are 4.5-point road favorites. 41.5 is your total. And we got Taylor Heineke. So that is going to be your quarterback here for Washington for at least the foreseeable future. I don't know, maybe not for the foreseeable future because maybe they decide to go to Sam Howell at some point. But at least for this one, we get Taylor Heineke, and then we get a maybe banged up Aaron Rodgers in this one. We know there's something going on with his hand, something going on with his thumb. They're playing it pretty coy. He's playing it close to the vest. No shocker with Aaron Rodgers. But Adam, when we look at this one, everything inside of me keeps saying, no matter how bad the Commanders have been, you're getting 4.5 points at home. Maybe maybe with Heineke at quarterback, this team is a little bit better. There's at least an added dimension with his legs, so there's at least that when it comes down to it with this Commanders team. And you have a Packers team that is maybe about as broken as we're ever going to see them. The defense is terrible. The offense is dysfunctional. Aaron Rodgers, again, maybe with some sort of hand injury or something. That being said, I tell myself all of this, and I look at the statistics, and I see some stuff that really does point in the direction of, hey, maybe it's worth a little bit of a gamble here on the Commanders, yet I can't put it in the account. Why is that?
Because you've watched Taylor Heineke play a full season. Because you watched the Washington Commanders for the last 6 weeks. Look, this is a bad, bad team. And that's why you have not been able to make this bet. And so I say all of that not being a stand for Green Bay or for Aaron Rodgers. Going back and watching some of that game against the Jets last week, because obviously I don't think we were surprised by the result of the Jets being competitive or winning, but blowing them out, I think is at least one that gets your attention. Two things stand out. One, Green Bay can't stop the run. And that's part of why I had New England a couple of weeks ago in Green Bay with 10 points at the time. Go ahead and try to find that one more time. But look at also the fact that they can't protect Aaron Rodgers. They just have not been able to give him any time. And of course, the combination of is it the receivers or is it the line with Green Bay has come down to it doesn't matter. Because
something's wrong, right?
Something's wrong. The receivers aren't separating. And if the offensive line could give a little bit of time, then maybe those receivers would be able to separate. Well, if the receivers were separating quicker, maybe it wouldn't matter if the offensive line were bad. That's the problem right now with Green Bay. So you're not going to get me to lay it. You're also not going to get me to bet Taylor Heineke, so I'll pass.
Yeah, Steve, I mean, listen, here's the thing. While, this Washington offense obviously has been abysmal, the defense has at least been league average. They blitz at a fairly high rate. They get pressure at a fairly high rate, and they weirdly are decent against the run. And so you would think the path of least resistance for the Packers would be to try and throw against them. But we don't think that the Packers team can move the ball through the air. So it's just a very weird what is going to win out ultimately in this game type situation. We do have the squeaky wheel narrative that is going on because they have come out and say, Aaron Jones has got to get more touches. Aaron Jones has got to be more involved in this offense. We've got to get the ball in his hands more. So if you want to play this thing maybe from a prop perspective, maybe you want to go that direction. I don't really know. How do you see this one?
Well, to Adam's point, this is not plan A for this passing offense to have Randall Cobb have 13 targets one week and then the following week Robert Tonyan have double-digit targets too. Like, that is not plan A. Like, that is Aaron Rodgers not having faith in the rest of his perimeter receivers. So I don't think it's any surprise that Jeremy Fowler of ESPN came out and said that they're in the market for a wide receiver before the trade deadline. The one name he brought up was Chase Claypool of the Steelers. So they clearly are not happy with the core of receivers that they have with Devontae Adams leaving in the offseason. This is one of our lead writer Eli Hershkovich's favorite bets this week. No stranger to plugging his nose is Eli. He's on Washington +5, I think he got it at. I tend to agree with him. I haven't fired it yet, but I think I'm probably going to if I can get across the bridge and get +4.5 or better. Not really losing anything coming off the fives there is a dead number. I went back to my preseason notes on Taylor Heineke. I don't think he's any good. I mean, he threw 15 picks last year, but I think this is at least an interesting note that Washington ranked dead last in average target depth over the past 2 years combined. And Carson Wentz was dead last in accuracy on passes thrown within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage the last 2 years. Taylor Heineke was third. So the easy stuff that they're trying to execute in the passing game, Carson Wentz isn't a good fit for. Heineke at least can make the layups, right? Like you can get guys like Dotson, you can get guys like McLaurin, who's an excellent route runner. Curtis Samuel, now that he's healthy, he's a shifty guy. Get these guys in space near the line of scrimmage and just get some yak. And I think Heineke can at least do that.
Well, and the other thing about him is the other thing about him is he's at least going to target McLaurin. Like for whatever reason, Wentz was not targeting McLaurin. Like I don't know what the deal was, but like
he just can't get off. We talked about it over and over again. Matt Wentz looks at his first read, and if it's not there, he panics.
So at least Heineke I don't care if he locks in and throws to McLaurin 15 times in this game. It's probably a better strategy than what they have been doing to this point, because like not utilizing your best playmaker and not utilizing a guy who actually is a game breaker and can get you easy scores and stuff, should he be able to break on like that is probably a better recipe for success for this team than what they're doing right now.
For sure. And I don't think this is on the other side, a switch that just gets flipped at some point for the Packers offense. I don't believe that. You mentioned the thumb for Rodgers, the offensive line's banged up. Washington's number 3 in pressure rate, number 20 offensive line and pass block win rate for the Packers. So it's a bit of both. It's really a bad combination when you have receivers that can't separate in a line that's bottom half of the league in blocking. So, and if they want to get Aaron Jones involved, by all means, go ahead and try, but they are 21st in run block win rate as well, and Washington's top 10 against the run in EPA and success rate. So I don't see any type of like big margin win here for the Packers. I think if they pull it out, it's probably a close game. And I'm also kind of looking at I'd be curious, Matt, what you think here. Plus 134 available on the Packers, plus 140 available on the Packers to miss the playoffs.
I'm so invested in the Vikings. It doesn't like it's not. I'm not interested in it. Right. So like, I mean, if they miss the playoffs, then I'm going to get paid regardless because the Vikings are going to win that division. So like, it doesn't, for me personally, it doesn't really jump off the page. But you know, I guess I wouldn't talk somebody off of it if it came down to it. But again, interesting here. And guys, I talk about Aaron Jones and him getting more involved. Cheap plug right here. If you go to TheLines and you look under odds, there will be a thing that says Prop Finder. You can click on Prop Finder, and in your state, you can type in anyone's name. You can type in a team. You can type in whatever, and then in the drop down, click your state, and it's going to show you the very best place that you can find any sort of prop bet for whatever player, whatever team, anything like that. So be sure if you do want to play these props, you know, a couple of yards matters. If you want an over, you want an under, you don't want to lose by a couple of yards, and a couple of yards matters. And there is differences between these books out there. So be sure and take advantage of all of that.